Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is A.B.W.L here and welcome back for yet another video on the channel. On today's video we're going to make an efficient crop farm. You can get all four varieties of the crops, as you can see right here: the beetroot, the wheat, the carrot and the potato, all of them together. And this farm is very efficient and it will give you a lot of crops if you leave it be for a few minutes, and it will give you a ton of food and also a lot of beetroot that you can just trade with a farmer villager, and you can gain a lot of emeralds. This is what I personally figured out. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the video, shall we? First things first is the materials. Inside this chest, all the materials you need for this farm is included. But some of the blocks that you can see that are numbered as 8, they depend on the size and the amount of blocks or the amount of layers you want to build for this farm. However, for the main base, the collection system, you only need 8 hoppers, 2 chests and 8 dispensers. And this is the main things that won't change, plus the 8 oak fence. Doesn't matter what type of wood it is, but it does matter if you make more layers than 2. Currently we're only making 2 layers of a crop farm, so we only need 1 layer of oak fence, meaning that we only need 8. The other one is the oak leaves. You only need 8. It doesn't really matter how much you need, but I think if you make more than 2 layers it's kind of gonna break, so I would just recommend you to build 2 layers, just like me. The other one is water buckets, 8 water buckets depending on how many dispensers you have, and 1 lever, 27 redstone dust, a redstone repeater, carrot and potato and seeds and beetroot seeds are what you need to plant all over this farm. So the more you have the better, but a full stack should do for now, but you probably will need about 3 to 4 stacks of each of these crops to be able to farm them, as well as a hoe so you can turn the normal dirt into farmland dirt. And you need about 6 stacks of blocks and 36 oak stairs. However, I believe that you need more stacks of solid blocks, and you can go with any blocks like oak plants or any other type of trees of like plants. It doesn't really matter, as long as it's a solid block, it's good for you. You can also use cobblestone for instance. This is the final model of the farm. If you want to know how you can build it by just looking at it, this is how it works: is that we place the leaves in front of the dispensers so that the leaves will display the water both in front of them and below them. So this water will fall into these blocks, which then will go and forth and collect all the crops that are laid out on here, and you will not need to worry about it. I think if you go any further, for like more layers, I think it might broke, but I think you can fix that by just going 1 block further and placing the leaves again, and just place one row of solid blocks here, so the water will sit on these blocks and it will go this way and this direction, so it will go into this layer of crops and also the down layer crops. Otherwise the 2 layers will just do the job, or you can just increase the length by going further in that direction and increasing this length. And the only thing that you need to pay attention is this collection system. All the hoppers must be connected to this chest, and also be aware that you need these fences so that it will stop the water from shooting items outside the farm. They need to be stopped by a block, and it needs to be like a half block so that they would get through this little crack. They will just fall into the hopper. As you can see, I can still click on the hoppers. It's very simple. It's not that much like complicated. And there's ladders that connect up to this redstone wire that goes all the way back here, that connects up to all the dispensers that you can just activate and disactivate. You can replace the lever with a button. I think a button might be better, and so this is the final model, but let's get to building it step by step. First things first, we need to build the collection system. First, you place down 2 chests, then you come behind of it, and then crouch down and place 2 hoppers facing towards the chest, and then crouch down again and place 6 hoppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. No, 6. We just needed 6. Okay. 6 hoppers connecting up to this hopper so that all the items that are being funneled towards this hopper will immediately go into this chest. You can also extend this like this storage chest by just going down like 1 block and place down 2 more double chests below this one, like this, and then crouch down and place a hopper facing towards that chest and another one facing towards the other part of the chest, like that. That way you can extend the storage of this farm if you want to have more space, but if you don't need it and you will collect the items regularly, you can just go with a 1 double chest without the need of more hoppers. Especially in the starter games, you won't be having much iron, so it's better to save iron as much as possible for other farms. At this point, you're going to make the first layer of your farm. First, pick up a lot of dirt, depending on how many layers it is. I believe each layer needs about a stack, so this is 3 stacks, 4, 5, and 6. You need about 6 to 7 stacks of dirt, depending on how large you're going to make it. First, you need to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 blocks of dirt in this direction, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this direction, plus that one, it's 8, so it's an 8 by 8, which is exactly 64 blocks. And then you fill up this little hole with dirt blocks. After you're done creating this little layer or platform of dirt, you need to come to one of the sides, count 2 blocks of the dirt, and then place a stair facing the other direction, like so. And then turn 90 degrees again, and then place another stair, and then turn again, then place another one. And then at this point, you're going to need an infinite water source, so I would recommend you to build one. It's very easy. You just need a 4x4 area. You just build something like this, if I can just do it. And then break these, then place a water there, and then place another here. Then you'll have an infinite water source, and then you will take some water buckets and fill up these stairs. And as you can see, the water will not leak from anywhere of these stairs, so you are good for this watering system for this part of the farm. Remember, each water source can only farm up to 4 blocks of dirt close to it, and then these 4 will need another one here. So again, count 2 blocks and then place a stair turning this way, and then another one here, another one here, and then water each again. Then you can start turning your dirt into farmland, because they will not turn into dirt anymore. Since there is water near them, they will turn into farmable land. Up to this point, you have your first layer of farm done. All you need to do is to cover the sides of it like this. This will prevent all the crops that are being dropped from leaking outside of the farm. After you're done creating these 2 little fences, you need to also place blocks here and 2 over here, and then connect up these 2. Except for these 2, because you need to be able to open the chest, so you need to place either a slab or a stair. After you're done creating this little fence over the farmland, you need to be sure that no mob can jump over it. If there's like 1 block here that mobs still can't get inside your farm, they will just jump around in your farm and destroy your all your crops and your farmland, so it will be kind of annoying. So I would recommend you to destroy any blocks that are near it that mobs can use to jump into your farm. After this, you are going for the second layer. Before that, you need to come to this corner, count 3 blocks, and then place 3 more solid blocks here. This is because when the water is shooting the crops in from the next layer, they might get into this little side and they just stay there. So we don't want crops to be like standing on the edge of our fences. We want them to be currently moving towards the hoppers. So placing these 3 blocks will prevent those items from staying on the edge. Do the same thing for this side as well. Then after you've done that, place a block here, and then you can place the second row of your dirt. However, this time we're going for an 8 in 7 block. We place 8 blocks here, but then instead of going 8 blocks in this direction, we go 7 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Do the same here, except it's 8 blocks. Then in this way, it's going to be 7. Then you need to fill up this little space with dirt. After you're done filling up this little platform, you can cover up the sides like the same one. First layer, you need to build up a fence using solid blocks like this. And the reason we went with 7 blocks instead of 8 is that we want the water to be able to come to this little edge and then funnel down and continue to go towards the hoppers. The reason this was 8 is because the water will stop at 8 blocks. As you can see, it will stop going any further at 8 blocks, but if it's 7, it will go further ahead. Then you need to come to one of the corners, then again count 2 blocks, break this block first if it's on your way, or you can do this before fencing all around the blocks. You need to build the water system for this little layer. What you need to do is to build something like this with stairs and then fill them with water. Then you can cover them using your blocks again. You need to do the same thing over here. You count 2 blocks and then you break 3. Or you can place this before placing the fences. Come to this corner. If you're in survival, you can just crouch down, look here, and then look here and there. And then place your water buckets inside, and then you can cover the top. After you're done creating this little fence and the water system below it, you can now go on ahead and farm the entire dirt land. You probably should know that from this point forward we do the same thing however we like or the size we want. For this one I just went for 3 layers, so I just built 3 layers. For this one we'll do the same thing, the same method that we went here with the 7 blocks of the dirt and then 8 in this direction. We'll do the same thing over here, but with the difference that it's going to be 1 block above, because we need the water to funnel down towards the other layers so that it would break the blocks without the need of placing any more water. So we're going to build another layer like this in this little space again, so that we'll have 3 layers. But depending on how big you want it or how efficient you want it to be, you can just go crazy and build even more towards that direction. But just be aware that you need 7 blocks in this direction, except for the first layer, because the first layer doesn't really matter if the water is funneling towards the hoppers or not. But the second and third and so on and forth needs to be 7 blocks tall or like in length, because we need the water to be able to funnel down. As you can see right here, when I place that water, it will go down this layer, but it will stop right here because this is 7 blocks and this one is 8 blocks in length. After you're done creating your last flat, depending on how many you want it, I just created 3, so this will be my last flat. After you're done doing that, place a row of blocks here like this, so that the water will not go this way out of the farm, it will just go towards the farm. And after you're done with the first layer, you can go and create the second layer. It's the same thing that we did here, but with the difference that it needs to be 1 block away from this little hopper, because we want the items to drop inside this hopper. But the same row of dirts are in the same exact position, Be aware that it needs to be 1, 2, 3 blocks higher than your original platform so you can walk around inside of it. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then you can place the dirt blocks here. So you can do the same thing for this one as the same as the first one. You can build the first flat 8 blocks and then the rest of them 7 blocks. Remember to place down your stairs so that all your farmlands will get wet. Again, 2 blocks count from one of the corners of your dirt. Then place a stair here, looking at this one. There we go. Then another stair. You place more dirt. And then there. Remember, you need one of these 3 canals of water because your farmland will just not work or get wet for your crops if it's not connecting to any water source, and every water source can water up to 4 blocks. That's why we went to 8 blocks of dirt in terms of width. After you're done creating all the platforms that you want, you need to come to the front of your farm and then place a block here, and then place 8 oak fences that you had originally in front of the farmlands, like this. After you're done creating all your layers, you must pay attention that the last layer must be 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This last layer of dirt must be destroyed because when you place the leaves will actually consume 1 block so that they can't actually go over. So the last layer you're building must be 6 blocks, 2 less than the original one, because we need the water to go down, and since the leaves are going to consume 1 block, it's going to be 6 blocks of farmland. And then right after that you need to place 2 blocks over here. I've already placed 1 here, but if you want to know, 2 blocks over here. Then place a row of oak leaves right here. Also, you must be paying attention to where the oak leaves are placed. Right now they're not currently placed on top of this dirt blocks, so it's wrong. I should place them directly above this little row of dirt blocks so that when the water is dropped down, it will collect all the crops. If you want to do that, or if you, like me, you've made mistakes, what you need to do is just place another row of dirt blocks right here, and you will have like a little 6 and 1. Otherwise, you just need to pay attention that the row of oak leaves must be in a line with this little row of dirt blocks, because where the water is going to go down must be aligned with this row of dirt farmland blocks, because we want the water to start from here and then go on to the hoppers. If it's not aligned, or you, just like me, you're misplaced 1 block, don't worry, you don't need to break the whole farm and do it again. All you need to do is just place a row of dirt blocks here, so you will have a row of additional farmland, and then place 2 blocks here and start your oak leaves from here. So you don't need to panic or do like anything. You didn't do anything wrong. You just need to place a row of dirt blocks if it's not aligned with this one. If it's like 2 blocks difference and it's still not aligned, you can place 2 row of dirt blocks. So as long as you reach the aligned line of this farmland, you're fine. So right now, if I place my oak leaves right here, I can see that it's aligned with the below farmland, so the water that will get dispensed from these leaves will go down into that row of farmland that I wanted originally. If you don't do this, it'll probably not work. After you're done doing this, place a row of block spacing 1 block behind of the leaves, because you need to place down dispensers, and the whole of the dispensers must be facing towards the leaves. If they're placing up like this, it's not going to dispense the water inside the leaves, so they must be facing this way. And for doing so, you need to place a row of blocks behind of the leaves, behind of the one space that you're going to place the dispensers, and then place the dispensers easier. As you can see, all of them are facing towards the leaves. After that, you need 8 water buckets to fill up all the dispensers. It doesn't matter which slots you put the water buckets inside. As long as they're filled up with a water bucket, it's all good. After you're done placing all your water buckets, if you want to test it, you can just test it using a lever or a button. Here I would recommend you to use a button because it's easier, otherwise you can just use a lever. To do that, all you need to do is to place a line of redstone dust on top of each dispenser by crouching down on the dispensers, because if you don't crouch down, you will actually open the dispensers. By crouching down, you can place the redstone dust on top of them. After that, you can place down your button or lever, try it once, see if all the dispensers have water inside of them, and as you can see, the water will go down until this little layer. And also the water will go down to the lower level, because this little space that I just mentioned that it needs to be aligned with this one block is actually where the water is flowing down, and it's going to break all the crops from here on forth. Now that you saw that your dispensers can dispense water properly, you can just break this one or just turn it off by pressing it once, and then place 1, 2, and 3 more redstone dust here. And then you need to place a redstone repeater here, and then connect up this little redstone wire all the way to where your ladder is going to be, depending on how much you want. Just pay attention that it doesn't cross the 15 line. 14 and 15. I believe this still works. Yeah, it does. And then wherever this 15 blocks gets ended, you can place blocks to get to the upper level using ladders. You can place ladders from the ground onto the platform. If your ladder is not placing on this block, it's because this block is actually a stair and it's waterlogged, so you can't place a ladder on top of it. So if you want to place a ladder on the ground, you can just place another block like here or right here, and then place your ladders onto the second platform. Then you can access your farm easily. You can also activate it using a button or using a lever like that one. But as long as the water gets dispensed and it flows all the way to here, and the same goes for the lower level, it's properly working. That's all there's for the redstone part. Now the hard part is planting all the crops. You can plant all the crops in these rows so that they will grow even faster. You can plant a row of wheat, a row of beetroot, a row of potato, and a row of carrot, and then again you repeat the same thing. If you place them together, their growth time will be less, but if you place them like this, they will grow even faster. When you press this button, the water gets dispensed, and as you can see, all the crops will be broken and they will flow into these hoppers. The same thing happens in the lower level. And this little layer of fences that we put was to stop the items from shooting away from our farm. This little row of fences will actually stop the items from floating any further, and they will immediately drop down into the hoppers. As you can see, they all dropped right here. If this lower row of fences are not here, they will go outside of your farm. After all the items are out, you can press this button. As you can see, some of the crops still gets on the edges. This is because these 3 blocks that I mentioned was not covered. If we cover these 3 blocks, then there will be no actually crop that gets on the edges. As you can see right here, there's no crop here, there's no crop here. Same thing goes for the lower level. As you can see, all the crops have been collected. I have run this farm 2 or 3 times, I think, and then this is the amount of crops you will get. The farming part is automated, but the planting part is manual. All you need to do is to grab yourselves 2 stacks of each seed or plant. So 2 stacks of carrot, 2 stacks of seeds, 2 stacks of beetroot seeds, and 2 stacks of potato seeds, because this is the right amount you need for this farm. If your farm is bigger or smaller, you probably will need less. All you need to do is to just hold down plants you want to plant and then just go each row by row like this. And then once you reach out to the end, change to the other seed like normal seeds and then plant them in a row like this. Then you do the same thing, going through the same method with the same priority: carrot, seed, beetroot and potato. So it will increase the growth time of each plant. By the way, if you suddenly jump on one of your farmland and it got destroyed, don't worry, you can just repair it by using a hoe. So you must have a hoe in your hand as well when you're trying to plant all your plants. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video about this crop farm. It's very efficient. I would recommend it if you are playing on a survival world. It's a very good starter farm, and I hope you enjoyed this farm. Don't forget to like, comment down below and subscribe to the channel as well. It will mean a lot to me, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.